It is time, Everett. It is time to preview an event that I am at, event that I'm very excited about. It's time to talk about the 2024 men's NCAA volleyball tournament. 8 teams for the first time ever. We're going to preview the quarterfinals. I'm going to make sure I clip this out and post it as its own video as a quarterfinal preview. Then I'm going to come back on Wednesday after I'm done calling the games tomorrow, and I'll do a live stream here to cover the cover the quarterfinals and preview the semifinals. Here are the matchups, Everett. We can dig into these in order going on tomorrow. Number 1, UCLA takes on number 8, Fort Valley State. Number 4, UC Irvine takes on number 5, Penn State. Number 3, Grand Canyon takes on number 6, Ohio State. And number 2, Long Beach State, playing at home, takes on number 7, Belmont Abbey. Where would you like to start, Mr. Delorme?
I mean, you tell me, because the reality here, Rob, unlike the U Sports National Championship, where there might be a little bit of intrigue in round 1, there's only one interesting game. Oh, actually, no, I'll shut up. There's 2 interesting games. So it's basically like U Sports. Let's be honest here. UCLA and Long Beach are going to win their first round matchups. I'm sorry.
Yes, they will.
I'm sorry to the SEAC. I'm sorry to the Conference Carolinas. But y'all just not relevant yet. We're happy you're here. Don't get us twisted out here. We're happy you're here, right? You have a spot at the table. You just can't play with the big dogs just yet. We're excited for that time. So how we talked a little bit about it last week after the conference tournaments. Let's start with Ohio State and Grand Canyon, because I think that one has the most intrigue. I talked about how I would be disappointed if I was Grand Canyon that they didn't get the number 1 seed. UCLA was the number 1 team all year long. They knocked down UCLA in the finals of the MPSF. Still not that number 1 seed. But Grand Canyon, have they ever been to a national semifinal before?
Semifinal? No. Last year was their first NCAA tournament berth ever, and they lost in what was, I guess, like kind of the quarterfinals last year in that stupid 7-team bracket. But honestly, this is kind of perfect for Grand Canyon not getting a slightly higher seed that you could argue that they earned. This team plays with a massive chip on their shoulder. They start 3 guys who transferred in to GCU. 3 of their starters did not start their careers there. Jarrett Anderson is their opposite as of midway through the season. He's a lefty who played Division III his whole career at Springfield, then transferred in. Rico Wardlow is a middle that started at Purdue Fort Wayne, then transferred in.
He's at TikTok.
And he's one of the TikTok guys. And then why can't I remember who the other one was? I think Jackson Hickman, one of their outsides, might have started somewhere else. I'll make sure I figure that out before I call their game tomorrow. But GCU is a team of guys. This is according to their head coach, Matt Worley. I saw him in the hotel lobby before this, and I interviewed him last week, and he's telling me that Worley, the coach, he doesn't even have to manufacture this giant chip on the team's shoulder. That's just who they are. It's how they play. It's guys that have felt like they have always been individually and as a team overlooked. They feel overlooked, and they play that way. It's a team that if you dare chirp them even a little bit, you are dead. It's a team that almost has to manufacture their own hate or conflict or something to get them motivated. But that produces a team that's insanely fun to watch. And they have the second best setter in the country, in my opinion, in Nick Slight, who's a first-team All-American. The All-American teams were announced today. And the big move they made midway through the season, right around the time that they got ranked number 1 in the country, was they moved Camden Gianni, who started his career as an outside hitter. They moved him to the opposite last year. They moved him back to the left side, where I think he's a little bit better. I think he's better over there. Just a great dude with a big arm. Ball control is a little bit of a concern, but I do like his arm action on the left side better. Plus, you got a good lefty. So also 2 of my favorite middles in the country, and Rico Wardlow and Cam Thorne, both undersized, both insanely dynamic. So this is a team that is really motivated, and don't you dare talk the slightest bit of trash to them. Worley told me a story that when they were playing Stanford in the NPSF tournament, Will Rotman from Stanford, who's a really good player, bounced a ball on him and gave a little stare down through the net. And after that, GCU went on a 17-5 run. You do not want to talk trash to that team.
Referees, this is why we just let the boys play. Let them play, baby. It'll all figure itself out. the ball will let us. The ball will lead the way. Okay,
I
we
agree.
don't need your whistles. Okay,
I
get off your
agree.
high horses. Okay, we don't need any Angel Hernandezes in the volleyball world.
Oh
Okay,
boy, yeah. If
nice
you know it,
little
if you
baseball
know an
reference for
official's
you.
name, that's a
Nice,
good one.
nice little baseball reference for you over there, Rob St. Clair. And the fact that you like baseball over soccer is just
Oh,
absolutely ludicrous. The fact that I even
by by
associate you
by
when you
leaps
have
and
such a preference is ridiculous altogether. But you know what? I think I'm going to become a GCU fan. I'm going to adopt GCU as my team for this NCAA tournament, Rob. Just because
I like that.
I love the underdogs. I love the gritty mentality. I look great in purple. So you know what? I'm gonna be a GCU fan in this one. Now the other quarterfinal that this one
No,
has to be a
I got to talk about Ohio State though for a little
oh
bit
shit, you're right.
because
You're
that
right. Tell me about Jacob Pastor. I do think
I
that
will
Jacob Pastor has one of the best arms in the NCAA. He actually might have the best arm
maybe the best.
in I think he has the best arm in North America. I don't know anyone in U Sports who has an arm better than him, right? Heslinga jumps way better than Pastor. It's not even close, and has way more control than him. I think Siskna is is a pretty good all around player, but no one hits the ball as hard as Jacob Pastor, in my opinion.
Yeah, Pastor's arm is awesome. And so Ohio State, very, very briefly at the beginning of the season, was ranked number one in the country. Very, very briefly. Then they had a much rockier conference season and was the 3 seed in the MIVA tournament. They stormed through it and won. They kind of how it was put to me was that midway through the year, or at a certain point in the year, they figured that they probably weren't going to get an at-large bid with some of the bad losses on their resume. And what they ended up doing was starting to do a little load management with Jacob Pastor, because his knees have not been treating him particularly well this year. And they knew that if they could make a run through the MIVA tournament and get to the national tournament, which they are, they actually believe they have a chance to win a national championship. And I don't blame them. This is the best quarterfinal on paper by far to me. I think that Ohio State and Grand Canyon are actually very similar,
Ooh,
which is always real fun to see
sexy.
two teams that play similarly. GCU definitely talks more trash. GCU has a much better
Mm,
setter,
I
but
like
the
that.
Ohio State middles are rock solid, and nobody on any team can hit high balls at the efficiency and the terminal ability of Jacob Pastor of Ohio State. The keys will be serve and pass for sure. Ohio State coach Kevin Birch claims that Ohio State is one of, if not the best passing teams in the country. And statistically, they're much better than GCU in reception. So keep an eye on that. And Pastor is one of only 2 guys in the country with over 60 aces this year, which is a lot. And then the other thing is Shane Wetzel, this lefty on the right side for Ohio State. If he can be good, they have a very, very real chance to win this match. If he's not good, though, they have no chance to win this match, and GCU is going to be all over him. But this is a very spicy quarterfinal. Everett, I was going to say I like your GCU pick. It's like for them, jump on the bandwagon, except that they, I think, have the hardest first round matchup of anyone.
They do, and I'm also realizing that Ohio State also has a Canadian by the name of Owen Pickering, who is a first year out of Ottawa, Ontario, and my OG club, the Ottawa Fusion. Um, so I
Uh-oh.
am a little torn now. I'm sorry, GCU, but like I said, I look good in purple. The Fusion, actually, technically back then I was a Kangaroo. Ottawa Kangaroos go back, but we had purple jerseys. That's why I know I look good, right?
My
So
club I played for growing up was purple also, funny enough.
yeah. It's I guess it's just the hallmark of guys who are meant to become broadcasters and shitty podcasters. Yeah, okay. So that just got real tough to pick out here, St. Clair. And
So that one is 8
do
p.m.
you
Eastern tomorrow, and that I think will be the best match of the 4. So if there's one match for you, at least North Americans to watch, it's that one, 8
what
p.m. Eastern
what
tomorrow.
time is this one at again?
The
What time
8
did you say it
p.m.
was at?
8 p.m. Eastern, live on NCAA.com for free. We'll talk about that in a second. The other one that I think is going to be good is
No,
UC.
that's one. This one is at 10:30 p.m. Eastern.
No, I think those are switched. I've
I'm looking at the current NCAA website.
oh no, is that the late game? Oh, that would be so bad. I would hate that.
That is the late game.
Oh no, I would hate that.
Yeah, because Long Beach has the 8 o'clock game, the primetime game.
Oh, you're right. Oh, that's such a bummer.
That is a bummer.
Yeah, that's a big mistake. The putting the best game last. Well, it's prime time for me on the West Coast, but that is too bad for everyone else. You'll have to just stay up late and watch it. Oh yeah, Ohio State Grand Canyon going to be really good. The other one that I think will be good is UC Irvine versus Penn State. It's the 4-5 game. You'd expect a 4-5 game to be good. UC Irvine has the best player. Ilir Heno is the best player in the country. He will win the National Player of the Year award this week. He has done just ridiculous things on ridiculous volume this year. I think he's at something like 5.5 points per set on the season, which for a college kid is outrageous. So the quantity along with the quality is way up there. And UC Irvine is just much, much bigger than Penn State at every position. And they have a cool story in Brett Sheward, who's their starting setter, who was a 2-time national champion libero at Hawaii, then wanted to set, and Hawaii brought in a 17-year-old to set for him this year, so it wasn't going to be him, transfers to Irvine, and gets the starting job. So that's really cool. Penn State is a very different team than Irvine. They are much smaller than probably any Penn State team I've ever seen. Both their starting outsides are 6'2", but they have a monster in the middle in Toby Ezeonu. He's basically unstoppable if you can get the ball to him. However, they have a freshman setter, which is always tough to make a tournament run with. And they do have a first-team All-American opposite, and that's going to be the key. This guy, John Kerr. Everett, you and I saw him in Austin last year at the First Point thing, and he played real well.
He wears a pair of chinos well, but also a good volleyball player.
Yeah, first EIVA Player of the Year. So Kerr, and this is what Mark Pavlik told me when we interviewed him last week, is that when Penn State digs balls, which they will, that is a good defensive team. Ryan Merck might be the best libero in the country. When they dig balls, they must terminate in transition. The last thing you want to do, the last thing that Pav wants to do, is give the ball back and allow Ilir Heno to take another swing. That is not what you want to do against UC Irvine. Heno is too good. When you get a chance in transition, you must terminate it, and that's going to come down to John Kerr. He is going to be the guy getting those high balls. Pav said he wanted no more than 25% of the offense on the left side of the court for the entire match.
Oh, what?
That is a very low number. He wants no more than 25% of the offense on the left side of the court.
Wow.
He wants 75% of his team's offense through the middle of the court and on the right side of the court. That's front court quick. That's the BIC. That's the right side.
Oh,
he does not want to go to his front court left side hitters that much. They're just both smaller guys, and what you have to do against Irvine is terminate, and that's not going to be the best recipe to do that. So when Penn State gets balls in transition, it's going to go to Kerr. He's got to be terminal. If he can do that and they can pass well enough to run Ezeonu in the middle a little bit, they've got a chance, but I don't see it. I got Irvine either 3-0 or 3-1.
Yeah.
I think Heno is way too good, and Penn State's seen nothing like it.
Yeah, I don't have the same trust in Penn State that I do of GCU. I mean, they're just the EVA just isn't. I know Pav would get mad if you guys called it the EVA, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to call it EVA if I want to. But the EVA is just not that great right now. Right. And Penn State is, I don't really rate them as much for, like, I think there's an outside chance that UCI could win a national championship this weekend.
I agree. I think that's possible. I think any of the top 4 seeded teams can legitimately
What about Ohio
win.
State?
I think this is as wide open as this tournament. If Ohio State beats Grand Canyon, they would have to play Long Beach in Long Beach. And I think Grand Canyon, being the chip on their shoulder team, matches up better in that environment than Ohio State does. Ohio State would have to pull off an all-time great serving performance if they were going to win 2 games in this tournament. Could definitely see them winning 1. It can be done. It legitimately can be done. This is a wide open tournament, and like Long Beach State, I think is very good. I have respect for Belmont Abbey and winning the CC. That's a league with a lot of parity. They've got some big players and they've got some good arms, but Long Beach State in Long Beach, very, very difficult. And then Fort Valley State against UCLA. It's actually Fort Valley State's coach is a buddy of mine. Shout out to Larry Rather. He's from Chicago. He was saying that of all the top seeded teams that Fort Valley State could have drawn, UCLA is their preferred because they've played them each of the last 2 years. And Fort Valley State is a morning team. They do a lot of training in the morning, and they're playing at 11 a.m. Pacific tomorrow. So and that's going to be much earlier than UCLA has played all season long. So he kind of likes that for Fort Valley State out of the SEAC, but it's still a level of serving that they will have never. Well, they've seen it now. They've played good non-con teams earlier in the year in California, but Fort Valley State, I don't think will be able to hang with that level of firepower. And UCLA is the type of team not to play down and not to like fall asleep against Fort Valley State. I think they're UCLA, I think, leads the country in hitting efficiency, and that will they will bump up their numbers tomorrow, I predict.
All right, fair enough. Sounds good. All right. Is there any other games you want to break down here, Rob St. Clair?
Nope. So those are the quarterfinals. I will be back on Wednesday in between the 2 days of play to break down the semifinals, which are going to be electric. Seriously, Thursday's games, whoever makes it to the semifinals could be some of the best in the history of the NCAA men's tournament. I'm really excited about them. I think it's wide open. Seriously, any of the top 4 teams could legitimately win a national championship. So all of these games are live on ncaa.com for free. Everett will have to check and let the rest of you know and everyone know in the Discord if there's any sort of geo-block restrictions.
In the past, ncaa.com has always been open. So I am banking on it being open. I will be watching all day tomorrow. I will.
Yep, all day tomorrow. 4 matches on Tuesday, and then 2 matches
and
on Thursday.
Chirping Rob specifically in the chat.
There, unfortunately, there's no live chat. You'll just have to do it in the Discord.
Sorry, that was the watch along on Sunday that I'm going to be chirping you on. So sorry, my chirps will be exclusively for your phone. My goal is to make you laugh on the broadcast. Like, I just want like a little bit of a chuckle, just enough to know that I had an impact, right? No one else will know. No one else will know. But I will know from the time that I sent him this. And then you will, just like a little, that's all I want.
Yeah, I'm doing color, by the way. Shout out to Daniel Gilman. He'll be my play-by-play guy for the week. I'm actually really excited to be an analyst for the week. I'm looking forward to that.
Poor man. This poor man.
Yeah, I'm doing color.
With you doing color for him, and not that it won't be quality. It's that this dude is not gonna get a chance to do color or do play-by-play because you're gonna talk over him the entire time. This is gonna be a great exercise.
Everett,
I'm going to be a great
exercise
in restraint.
I'll keep my mouth shut.
In restraint for Rob St. Clair. I unfortunately am going to miss the semifinals because I have to work, and that makes me sad. and I will be at a spa day on Wednesday, so I will miss your shirt.
Fortunately, the NCAA is pretty good about putting these games up on their YouTube channel shortly after they're played. So look for that. But yeah, all these games tomorrow I'm really excited for. Both semifinals on Thursday I'm incredibly excited for. I'm super thankful to the NCAA for the opportunity to get here and call these games, and I think it's going to be awesome. So catch all the games, and we will be back on, or I at least will be back on Wednesday to talk about the quarters and preview the semis.
You will be back.